All right, so we're here at NAB 2024. It's actually my first show, and there's so much cool stuff. But we're at the Blackmagic booth right now. They have 3 new cameras. That's probably going to be the highlight. So let's go check them out.
So first up is one of the craziest announcements at NAB. This is the Blackmagic Ursa 17K camera, and we don't have full details on it yet. It is still behind glass, but we do know it is a larger format, extra wide 65mm equivalent sensor with 17K resolution. And just to put that in perspective, that is a 140 megapixel sensor, which is absolutely insane.
And this is the Ursa Cine 12K. Controls on it are awesome. There's your SDI, director controls on it, wireless video built into this, M.2 SSD slots built in. Absolutely crazy what you can do with this thing.
So yes, this is going to be a 98 megapixel sensor with 16 stops of dynamic range, open gate 12K recording at up to 80 frames per second, 224 frames per second in 8K, 8 terabytes of internal storage, and pretty much every connection option you could ever want. It's also going to be available in PL and EF mount. Surprisingly, there's no RF mount option or L mount option, but apparently this is to allow the mounts to be interchangeable. Pricing is going to be set to $15,000, and this is already set to be one of the best camera releases of the year.
So this is the new Blackmagic Pixis camera. It actually has 6K recording in open gate up to 30 frames per second. We see a bunch of other modes though. We can do anamorphic recording, Super 35, 4K. In DCI 4K, we can actually go up to 60 frames per second in this. It's got SDI connections on it, USB-C, which we can go out to the loop, or you can plug in a monitor using that same option over here. But this is a super well-built camera, just really industrial design. 2 CF Express card slots, so just a ton of features on this.
But this was definitely the most talked about camera at the show, even compared to the Sony Burano, which we'll talk about shortly. But it is mostly a refreshed version of the Pocket 6K with a little bit more industrial and super riggable box design. So I do think that some of this hype might fizzle out after we get blasted with about 1,000 reels of just insane rigs with this camera. So the DJI booth was one of the best of the show, and it was a ton of new products here, from the Avata 2, the RS4, and the Focus Pro, and some really awesome setups that were so insane. I had random people coming up to me asking about the rigs I was testing.
I can either switch it to full autofocus, so now it's like autofocus tracking him, or I can just go manual focus and then completely manual focus anything.
But the highlight for me is going to be the RS4 Pro, which somehow managed to take a red 8K camera with cinema lenses, wireless monitoring, and turn it into a one-man run-and-gun setup with full autofocus, and that's worth getting stoked about.
All right, so right now we're here at the Ugreen booth. This is their new NAS Sync series, and these are just some pretty crazy NAS drives. There's a 2-bay unit, a 4-bay unit, 6-bay, 8-bay, and then the one that I like the most that we're going to be doing a lot with is going to be this one. This is 4 bays, but they're all M.2 SSD storage, so you can get some really high speeds on them. But even all of these have 2 M.2 SSD slots in them. All right, so this is the 6-bay unit, and this thing is just loaded with ports. So on the back of this, we actually have an HDMI port that can handle 8K. We have a USB 3.2 connection. We have 2 USB 2.0s. We have 2 10 gigabit Ethernet connections on there, and then your power. And then on the front of this, we have 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports and an SD card reader. And so this thing is just absolutely loaded with ports. This allows you to control the drive, and they also have a full photo and media manager on this. And what's really cool about the photos is they're using a lot of AI processing now, so you can actually automatically have it sort your people, your places. It can actually identify which person is what. You can identify animals, locations. Now, all of these units are available on sale if you pick them up on Kickstarter, or you can find out more information on Ugreen's website. Thanks so much to Ugreen for bringing me out for this and for sponsoring this video. I've got a unit coming in, so more tests on the way soon.
We did run into Irene giving a talk over at the Xeon booth and found a ton of super expensive robots doing a ton of robot things, and then made her way over to Nanlite with some of the best lights you can buy today.
I just got a bunch of Nanlites in, actually. You might have seen it on IG, but I'm setting up this crazy studio setup with Nanlite right now. But these are pretty cool. These are the Pavo Slims. I just got a few of them in. They have this aluminum metal backing on this, and that kind of takes away some of the heat from them so they don't overheat. They're all RGB panels, super bright. But there's all kinds of stuff here. Look at this. These are these 2400s. These are like $17,000 lights right here. There are 4 shining. You can literally dump water on all of this stuff and it's gonna be fine. So these are the Alien 300Cs. These are actually some incredibly powerful lights. They're actually more powerful than most 300 watt lights, and these are full RGB panels as well. I just got these in. They're full pixel based, so you can kind of zone these out however you want and program them for some really cool lighting effects. Again, like just insane things that you can do. You can just set them on there on magnetic light stands on the wall.
They also had some new hard cases, which I had never seen before. But honestly, Nanlite is a family-owned company with some really awesome gear, so definitely check them out. Now, everywhere you look, there is just some insane piece of tech. But one thing I did not see was any mention of AI. Like at CES, you can't unsee this word, but at NAB, AI is definitely a buzzkill word. We also found the Nikon booth, which is fully decked out with red everything, so that takeover happened super fast. But my favorite setup was definitely over at Tilta.
So this is a Tilta Khronos. It's a fully integrated iPhone cage. It's got a filter system, a fan for actually cooling off your device, integrated handles, and a wireless follow focus system for controlling manual focus.
They also had a new Hydra Alien Pro, and this thing has electronic dampening and suction cups, so absolutely insane. We're going to be getting one in soon. And then they also had the Hydra Mini, which I did get to use a couple of weeks ago again, so brand new video and revelations coming up very soon. Now, Sony also had this just absolutely massive booth, but by far the most interesting announcement from them was going to be the Sony Burano, which is this really cool cinema camera. And while the studio setup was good, this camera needed a bit more. So I actually spent the afternoon with a bunch of awesome videographers testing out the full rig on location. So if you want the full impressions of that, let me know in the comments and we'll get the camera in and do a little bit more with it. But in the meantime, appreciate you guys giving this video a like. And it was awesome just getting to run into so many of you guys at the show. I really appreciate all the support. You guys are amazing. I'm editing some insane new videos and camera guys. So as always, feel free to hit me up and chat on IG, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.